Well, hopefully the phone doesn't ring again. As I was starting to say that this background here is called the comic part. I'm like, what is so comic about it? This bunch of little pixels. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, when I started getting married, I was very young, as you all know. And as you all know, I actually, had pretty good for our first marriage and only being 15. We had new furniture. We had a very nice duplex. We had a baby. We had a dog. He didn't like cats, so I didn't have a cat. But it was pretty good, and I didn't have to ask for anything. He was actually very generous in that respect. We got our furniture at auctions, and it was like brand new furniture. I mean, most of it was just factory rejects, whatever. And back at the time, it was an orange couch and went with an orange carpet with orange lamps, that were glass, and it was actually very attractive for its time. Everything was good. Marriage wasn't good, but materially, not bad for a 15-year-old, And at that time, we were paying $175 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, a huge kitchen, big living room, and all that stuff. Duplex half, And before that, I think I told you, I had ran away and got my own little place, and that was $145. I was making $1.75 an hour. Maybe. I think I'm overdoing it on that one. But I remember. And I remember when my first baby was little, grandparents chipped in a lot and made it very possible for us to clothe our child and feed him and make it easier on my son, Nathan. He was a very lovely, beautiful child. This blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh, I hate this yawning medication effect. And I'm boring myself to death. And if I'm boring myself to death, that means I'm boring you to death. Anyway, that went on, and then I met Mikey's, my last biological child, his father, Michael, and Michael gave me the world, I was really in love with the guy, and anyway, things got really bad. It was sad. That was the saddest, well, almost the saddest divorce I ever went through. The other saddest divorce was with my third husband I'd been married to for a long time. And the stress in that, you just couldn't take it. And a lot of people couldn't take my household. I never considered myself somebody who just wanted everything or anything, and I never asked for anything until the brain tumor was found. And when the brain tumor was found, I kind of went and went on a spending spree from hell. I figured, what the heck? I'll get a fish tank, I'll have a big Christmas. I knew inside I was really sick. Anyway, it bankrupted us, is what it did, and lay down, Moose, and it was so hard because I was having problems with my kids, and it was just really bad. Anyway, he left, and I struggled, and I did it, though. I lived in one of the better apartments. I've mentioned Connemara before, up on the Issaquah Pine Lake Plateau, and it was just beginning to boom. and Klahani was made, and Brookshire, and $1 million homes were all around me, and before that had not existed. Just had not. Well, then everything was very hard, you know. People, when I get sick, and I got sick a lot, I, uh, my L5 shattered, along with my L4 in my back, and it was very, very hard on people around me. It was very hard, and so anyway, I made sure that everything was done because I needed to go into emergency immediately. So I had to borrow money from my dad, which later on he was told, I guess, by one of my aunts, the youngest aunt, that I'd used the money to put into stocks or something. And anyway, she was way off base, and she never liked me. She just wasn't a good person to me, and a liar, a big liar. I have been surrounded. It's a child that should have been the abortion theory, you know. And I'm not saying that because I'm sorry for myself. I'm saying that because that's what was told to me. You were supposed to be aborted. You weren't supposed to be here on Earth. Well, if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be here talking into a blog, would I? Good Christ. My favorite. You never belonged in this family. Here I am. Boogie, boogie, boogie. And big bad monster. E6, steam. So who was I in this mesh of, you know, having babies before I was 18? All of them. And then by the time I was 20, they were taking out just the uterus. So they had a hysterectomy. And then finally, you know, time passed on, and I married this guy that was really a great artist, a fantastic artist. I have a lot of his art. He owes me. And so, I paid for 2 months of his rent, gave him one of my cars, just to get him the hell out of my apartment. He'd been there for 5 years, and he just wouldn't leave, you know. And it was a non-sexual relationship. He was gay, or whatever. He was, but he was really an excellent artist. And he and we had worked on projects together in, you know, home shows and that. And I was the writer, and he was the artist. And anyway, we got awards, and then I would go into the baking stuff and do my peach cobblers and all that. I mean, things worked. But they didn't. God, I didn't ask for anything there. I was too busy bringing this kid in, that kid in, and working 3 or 4 jobs. And anymore, it's like, I don't know how the hell I survived. I don't. Anyway, when I finally got the job at the Seattle Seahawks, I figured, oh, this is really great, you know. And it was even harder because I was still working at a restaurant managing, and I was also doing international mailings with dealing with customs too. And it's so much fun. That reminds me, I've got a customs bill I've got to pay from China. Oh God, I'll tell you about that one later. Anyway, it was very hard, and you know, I didn't see anybody really. 6 years I was with the guy, 5, 6. Oh, I don't know. It was a nightmare. And then I met a guy. And the guy, first thing out of his mouth was, Get used to it. I'm in love with my girlfriend. I've always been in love with her. She broke up with me. She wouldn't give me sex, and so then she left me for so and so. That's what he said. And then he said to me, don't ever expect anything from anybody. Any chick I marry, she's not getting a house. She's not entitled. I wasn't planning on marrying him at that time. I thought, man, what a jerk. Well, I'll stick around and see what else he does. I started getting really sick that time, and then seizures increased, and I bought my own place. I had my own place. He had nothing. He lived in squalor. The guy got a car out of it. He talked me out of my condo, and I got fucked over. Seriously, fucked over. Fucked over. Because I believe that sharing with people is okay. If you love somebody, it's okay. You know. It wasn't okay. Part 2 is coming. I need